No one expected this. Jrue Holiday is leading the league in corner three-point percentage, and he is absolutely dominating for the Boston Celtics offensively and defensively to help them be an extra piece. He is being underappreciated and undervalued just because he does not help out so great on offense, and we're going to be diving in looking at how appreciative Jrue Holiday is to this team. We'll also be looking at the All-Star voting after the second round has just come out today, and we'll be exploring how it is so surprising that the Boston Celtics starting five are all in the top 10 for their positions. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. But before we dive into this Boston Celtics content, I would like to say that roughly right around 80% of our viewers are not subscribed, and would greatly appreciate if you guys hit that big old red subscribe button and join the Celtics Digest family. We're getting closer and closer to our goal of 3,000 subscribers, so if you want to make sure you stay up to date on daily Boston Celtics coverage and content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as you definitely won't regret it. But let's dive into the news at hand today, so make sure to grab a snack, as today is going to be a jam-packed episode as we dive in looking at the first topic, which is the Celtics starting five climbing the All-Star boards. And like I just mentioned in the intro, it is very shocking that the Boston Celtics have all five of their starting five guys in the top 10 of voting for the All-Star. Now, as we guys know, the vote doesn't mean everything. The vote just helps it out. There's obviously the fan vote, the player vote, the coach vote. There's so much that goes into deciding who is a real all-star in this league. But as of right now, the last time that we saw a starting five make the all-star team was when the Atlanta Hawks a couple years ago made it with their starting five. And we all know how that team ended up. So hopefully the Boston Celtics don't end up like that, but let's look and dive in and look at these votes. So as you guys can see, looking at the Eastern front court and guards, this is a picture from Shams Charania's Twitter, but as you guys can see, Jayson Tatum is in third for the front court behind Joel Embiid and Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Jaylen Brown is fifth. Sandwiched between Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown is Jimmy Butler. Underneath Jaylen Brown is Kristaps Porzingis at sixth. And then if we want to look at the guards, you can see that Derrick White is seventh and Jrue Holiday is ninth. Now, if we want to look at this tweet from Noah Dizel, she says that All-Star returns. The Celtics have three of the top six East front court players, and also of note, Derrick White jumped up to number 7 on the All-Star guards. Jayson Tatum is closing in on Joel Embiid for number 2 overall, and Kristaps Porzingis went up to number 6. So after the first rankings had come out, obviously some Celtics had gone up, and that is great for the Boston Celtics. Obviously the guy in Derrick White getting a little bit more recognition, passing a guy in LaMelo Ball who has been hurt. Doesn't look like he's going to be coming and playing in this All-Star game. The one question mark that I do have here is obviously Jimmy Butler being above Jaylen Brown. Obviously, I know it's fan vote, so a lot of the Miami Heat fans are voting for Jimmy Butler. But a guy like Jimmy Butler has been out a lot this season, had a lot to deal with injury, while a guy like Jaylen Brown has been very consistent in playing and has been dominant on both sides of the ball. Obviously, it's just fan vote, but if we were to acquire all the votes entitled, I don't believe that he would be ahead of Jimmy Butler. I don't believe would be ahead of Jaylen Brown. I believe Jaylen Brown would be ahead of Jimmy Butler. But honestly, it is great from the Boston Celtics to see, Kristaps Porzingis being represented up there, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum being viewed as two of the three best wings in the Eastern Conference. It's probably deserving that they're both going to make it. I would be shocked if Kristaps Porzingis doesn't make it as well. When we look at the guard position, it seems like there are going to be some better guards than guys like Derrick White and Jrue Holiday, but we'll have to wait and see how they move up in the rankings, and we'll ultimately get to find out. But I want to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think of this All-Star race so far? Do you guys think the Celtics are well-deserved on their list, or do you guys think that some of the Celtics should be a little bit higher up? Very glad that Jayson Tatum is catching up to Joel Embiid, and if he is able to pass Joel Embiid, that would be very, very great. But let's keep diving in and exploring some more news as we talk about Jrue Holiday appreciation. And yes, Jrue Holiday deserves the flowers that he gets. Now, like I mentioned in this video in the intro, this is very shocking and no one expected this out of a guy in Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday comes over to the Boston Celtics late in the end of the offseason from Malcolm Brogdon and Robert Williams from the Portland Trail Blazers after he was dealt for Damian Lillard, and he has fit in very well for this Boston Celtics team. He's obviously not going to be your number 1 or number 2 option on offense, and having Kristaps Porzingis as well, he's kind of slotted as a number 3 or 4 option depending on the night, mainly the 4th or 5th option after seeing Derrick White's emergence on offense and defense so far this season and consistency of being great on both sides of the ball. Jrue Holiday has kind of resembled to the I'm going to do it, I'm going to help out whatever is going to get us to win. That means he gets, 5 or 6 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists, but his shooting numbers and his points per game are a little bit on the lesser end, and he's not taking up many opportunities. And if he is taking some opportunities, he's a little bit colder. Excuse my language, Jrue Holiday has been very good for the Boston Celtics in games where he is necessarily counted to being a second or third guy. Sometimes the Celtics have lineups where Kristaps Porzingis is out or Jaylen Brown's out, and a guy like Jrue Holiday is expected to step up for the Boston Celtics alongside some other guys in Sam Hauser and now Horford, and Jrue Holiday does perfect in that role for the Boston Celtics. So let's dive in and look at some appreciation for Jrue Holiday as we see from this tweet from NBA University. Shout out to NBA University. They come out with great advanced stats. They're always diving into some details on basketball that I've never thought I'd figure out. They sent out this tweet yesterday that I wanted to dissect, but I think it's better to look at it today after recent events from last night. Jrue Holiday having the highest corner three-point percentage in the whole NBA on a minimum of 30 attempts. He takes 32 and he's shooting around 62.5%. Right below him was Mike Conley, and ironically, those two guys tore up against each other last night. Mike Conley did not play for the Minnesota Timberwolves as he was out, but Jrue Holiday was an impactful piece for the Boston Celtics in that game. As we all know, Jrue Holiday hit a clutch 3 for the Boston Celtics in last night's victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Jayson Tatum missed the one and only free throw that the Celtics missed with a fantastic offensive rebound by Derrick White. Played around the perimeter all the way to Jrue Holiday in the corner for the 3! And that's what got the Celtics the dub. Brought back that Celtics momentum, got them a little bit of life, and helped them out to finish off this game. Obviously, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum carried in overtime in the fourth quarter, but hitting that clutch shot from Jrue Holiday is what you like to see. We want to dive in and look at some of Jrue Holiday's stats. We can see that he's averaging right around 13 points, 6.4 total rebounds, and 4.7 assists off of 45% shooting, 40% from the 3, and 79% from the free throw. Obviously, his numbers have had to go down a little bit since being into Boston with Milwaukee last year. He had a bigger role playing alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton. He was a third option. On this Boston Celtics team, he is mainly the 4th or 5th option on offense on most nights if the team is fully healthy, but still putting up some solid numbers. Like I mentioned, he's getting more rebounds, 6.4 to 4.2, and 4.7 assists compared to 6.4, a little bit lower on the assists, but he is participating as a do-it-all guy for this Boston Celtics team, and he's really contributing to the Celtics in that way. And as the Celtics gear up to take on the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in their back-to-back, we have an article breaking down what Jrue Holiday feels. So, as asked if Jrue Holiday feels any emotion going into tonight's game, and Jrue Holiday said that he doesn't have any idea yet. He told reporters, and that he says he'll see when he gets there. Holiday and the Celtics defeated the Bucks in a close game in November at the TD Garden, which was their first matchup, where the veteran guard scored 5 points against his old team while dishing out 8 assists and collecting 2 rebounds. Like I mentioned, Jrue Holiday, not really the biggest scorer for the Boston Celtics in his last game versus the Bucks when he put up 5 points, but 8 assists and 2 rebounds. He's getting the guys that are scoring the ball involved. We want to keep looking. He says that the Celtics are a good team and that they've beaten the Bucks before. I'm very confident that we have a good chance to beat them again. And he also added, I think being able to go back to Milwaukee should be fun. I was there for 3 years, and we did great things there, but I'm on to better things. And that's great to hear from a guy like Jrue Holiday. Obviously, he was happy about his time in Milwaukee, got to win a championship with that team, but after they traded him kind of for a better piece offensively to help them out, and he had to go to another team. He didn't really know where his location would be at the start of the season, obviously not wanting to play for Portland as they were not contending. So him going to Boston, kind of getting a little bit of rejuvenance and realizing that this is the team that he wants to play for, he's realizing that he wants to be here and that he's moved on to bigger and better things, which is something that I love to hear as a Celtics fan. You always want to hear your new and accompanying players be passionate about the team that they're playing for, and Jrue Holiday definitely means that. But I'm super excited for tonight's game versus the Milwaukee Bucks as the Celtics will look to take a 2-0 series lead for them and get some payback in Milwaukee. Jrue Holiday will probably be getting a standing ovation, probably a video clip as well, so that will be some good breaking news to dive into. But I'm hoping for an impactful game from the Boston Celtics. No Al Horford tonight in the back-to-back, but everybody else should be ready to go. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of Celtics Digest as we broke down the Celtics All-Stars recap and broke down some Jrue Holiday appreciation. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode as the Celtics take on the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll be hoping for a fantastic victory tonight, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm Bruce Veliz. Peace out.